Alrighty, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video on the channel, and today I'm going to be talking about a topic that not many people can really discuss, and that is Ro-Bow and Wildstorm. I'm going to be discussing kind of why they were so rare, as well as my story, and why I eventually sold them for the outrageous prices that they go for, how I got my hands on them, and a lot of other stuff in this video. So hopefully you guys will stay all the way through, because it is a pretty interesting story, and I will see you guys at the end of the video when I'm doing the outro, and yeah, let's jump right into it. Ro-Bow and Wildstorm are very iconic Skylanders, and this is because they were super rare. They were very hard to find, and because of this, nowadays their prices are super high. They became very iconic because Ro-Bow goes for like over $300, Wildstorm goes for like over $150 consistently, and this is all because of the release cycle of Imaginators. These guys were pushed so far back that it was like almost a year after the game had came out that these guys finally released, and because of this, the levels Cursey, Temple, and Lost Imaginary Mines were kind of just shoved into these figures that weren't ever meant to come with these levels. And the reason why I believe that is because the other adventure packs in Imaginators, except for Crash and Cortex, but Enchanted Elven Forest and Griffin Park Observatory both have physical level pieces. These do not. These Lost Imaginary Mines and Cursey Temple are just locked behind these Skylanders, and I feel like they were meant for a year 2 of Imaginators, but then eventually it was decided that was not going to happen, and they were just put into these random Skylanders. And nowadays they are very hard to come by because they were super expensive, and they were not super expensive back then. They were normal price Skylanders, but they came out so late that like everyone had basically moved on from Skylanders, and no one wanted them anymore. Even the stores wanted to just get rid of all of them, so they never restocked these guys. Personally, I was able to get these guys. I was able to get both of them back in the day. I cannot remember for the life of me how I got Wildstorm, but I do know that Ro-Bow, I went into a Toys R Us one time, I saw him, I was like, oh my gosh, he looks so cool. From like day one of Imaginators, after looking at the poster, I knew Ro-Bow was the one that I wanted the most. I saw him, I was with my dad, and he was like, oh, he looks super cool, and we got him. That's how I got Ro-Bow. I got him for retail back in the day. It was pretty awesome. But nowadays, like, I didn't even know he was super rare until a couple of years ago. I was like, oh my gosh, this guy goes for like $300. I had never really considered selling him because I always did really like him. I really liked both these guys. I thought they were two of the best senseis, but then eventually March of 2022 rolled around, and I was like, alright, I wasn't really into Skylanders at that point. Like, I wasn't playing it, and I was like, do I really need these senseis? I didn't feel like I needed them. I didn't feel like I was doing anything with them, and I really wanted some new Nintendo Switch games, so I ended up making the decision to sell them. The first one I sold was Ro-Bow. I wasn't sure if I was going to sell Wildstorm, but I was sure I was going to sell Ro-Bow. So I put Ro-Bow on eBay, I believe, and I sold him for, I think, $350. I can't remember exactly. I sold it on an old eBay account that I don't use anymore, so I can't just dig up the listing and give you guys the exact price, but it was something around $350. And then Wildstorm, I sold him later for, I think, around $170 or $180. I'm not exactly sure, but I'm pretty sure that's in the price range. So I know I got over $500 for these guys combined, and that was really nice. That was a big reason why I sold them, and because I wasn't playing Skylanders at the time, like, I wasn't really thinking about, oh, maybe eventually I'll get back into it and I'll want to use these guys again, because nowadays I kind of do want them back. But I ended up selling them, and another thing that I thought about was, like, the coolest part of having these guys, in my opinion, is the levels. Cursey, Temple, and Lost Imaginary Mines are like an experience that so many people will never get, and that's such a cool thing to have access to. And I scanned them in on my Imaginators, so I'll have those levels forever. So I was like, if I sell these guys, I'm not really losing what I consider to be the coolest part. So I did end up selling them, and I got a lot of money from it. It was really nice, and I do have one story about when I sold Ro-Bow. I sold them with the chest, with the blue chest that they came from, and I basically searched up how to tell the difference between them, because I didn't know which one was for Wildstorm and which one was for Ro-Bow. Looking back, I definitely should have like created a new profile or something and just scanned them in and done it that way, but I didn't think of that. I was not very smart. I don't know why. And I ended up selling the person who bought Ro-Bow the chest that was for Wildstorm. And so that created this whole issue where I had to send the new one with a package for him to send the old one back. It was pretty stupid. and that was definitely a waste of like a few bucks on shipping, but eventually we got it resolved, and I was happy that I sold these guys at the time. Looking back, I do think I want these guys again. They're two of the best senseis, I think, but I don't know if I'm ever gonna be able to spend 500 bucks or more to get the two of them. So I'll just have to think about it. But something that I am considering is getting NFC cards for them, because on eBay I see NFC cards all over the place, and they seem pretty easy to get and pretty easy to use, so I might do that, but of course it's not going to be as cool as having the figures, so I'll just have to think about it and take everything into account, and I will make my decision from there. But that has pretty much been it. I do want to thank you guys one more time for tuning into this video. It was pretty fun to make, pretty fun to tell my story about Ro-Bow and Wildstorm and how I ended up with them and why I no longer have them. So I hope you guys did enjoy this video. I will see you guys next time.